Hey guys, so I am at the last half of my market prepping process. So this might be one of the last, if not the last, market prepping video leading up to my market. So I am doing a market on April 26th, that weekend, and I think today is the 6th? Yeah, today is Sunday, April 6th, I think. So I have today and then 2 more full weekends leading up to the market, and then I have the weekend of the market. And I've done a lot of different videos so far, just kind of like to separate all the market prepping, because I knew it was going to be a long process and I didn't want it to just be like market prep part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wanted to kind of have better ways to separate it, and so that's why I kind of did like some challenges for some, and then just different themes for each video so that it wasn't just the same video over and over again. So for this video, I am going to be just making projects out of my scrap yarn. And so let me define what I mean by scrap yarn, because obviously you've got the scrappiest of scraps, which would be like the little pieces that like you can't really make anything with, but like I could use for stuffing, right? But then you've got some other scrap yarn, just tiny little balls or whatever, But then you've got a bigger category of scrap yarn, which is kind of just like leftovers that I don't really know what to do with. And that's how I kind of would consider like almost all, like maybe a good like 90% of my yarn, because the only time I have bought new yarn within the last year has been like for a specific project, because I had so much other yarn left over already that I was trying to use up. So for example, something like this, I bought this for a project a long time ago. I don't know what to do with the rest of it, so you'll see what I made. Stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and show y'all a little clip of all of the yarn that I brought with me up to school right now. I definitely packed way too much yarn, but I would rather have way too much than not enough, Because this is just the yarn that I'm gonna be keeping up here for this last like 3 weeks leading up to the market, because I do most of my filming on the weekends, but like I'm also gonna be working on my projects throughout the week, like when I get a chance. So I'd rather have too much yarn than not enough, but I definitely don't think I will go through every single bit of that, just with me being busy with college and all. But yeah, let's get started into the video. I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all the first thing that I have made. Yes, I did get started on a couple of these projects before filming the intro. I'm sorry, but y'all still get to see it, so it's okay. And there will be plenty more projects throughout the video. So this is some kind of yarn from Peaches and Cream. It's some kind of cotton yarn. I can't remember the colorway because I don't have the label anymore. But I have this, and I have one more cone of this in a different color. It's like a orangey yellow one. And these I've had for so long. I literally just bought them kind of back when I was a beginner, more just intermediate. I was experimenting with other types of yarn. And this is not my favorite type of cotton yarn just because it's a little more rough. I prefer to use the I Love This Cotton from Hobby Lobby just because it's so soft and like drapes really well. This one's just a little rougher. So I have been making bucket hats with this. Actually, my first projects that I did make with this when I originally bought it were some bucket hats, but they weren't the type of bucket hats that I want to make again. So now I am making some granny stitch bucket hats. So I actually finished the first one last night. All I have to do is cut off my yarn and weave in my ends. So I guess technically it's not finished, but it basically is. So this is the first one, and I love this pattern. I think this is by Knotting Hook Crochet on YouTube. I'll put the title on screen in case I got it wrong, but this is it. It's so cute. I'll go ahead and give y'all a little try on. I am very iffy about hats, okay? I feel like a lot of times crochet hats or whatever don't really look that great on me, but I would actually wear this in the summertime. And that is my thing that I had a problem with my other bucket hats that I made, because the idea of the hat was cute, but it just either didn't fit right on me, or I just didn't like it. But this is the first one of these I made, and I think this is actually so cute. So yes, I am still putting it in the market, even though maybe if it won't sell, I'll just keep it for myself. But I am going to be bringing this in the market. I think it's super cute. So all I got to do is, weave in my ends, and then I'll be done with that. And I still have this much yarn left. I Don't know for sure if this is enough for another bucket hat. I definitely am gonna try and make another bucket hat with this, but we'll see. I don't know if it'll be enough. But now the next project that I'm starting is a beanie. And I feel like majority of these scrap yarn projects are gonna be some kind of like hat type thing. You know, I've got like a lot of ideas for, you know, bucket hats, beanies, and cat ear beanies. And the main reason for that is because so much of the scrap yarn that I have, some of it is just like random yarns that I've gotten from like kits a long time ago, or just like yarns that I wouldn't really choose again. And so they're not really good for like making plushies or anything like that. So, and I don't have enough to make like a tote bag or whatever. So, you know, beanies, hats, bucket hats, you know, small enough, but it's like a wearable piece. And so you can definitely experiment with different kinds of yarns with that. And so that's why I'm probably going to be making a lot, which is okay. I'm not mad about it. I'm going to have fun with it. It's not like I'm making the exact same piece over and over again. So I think it'll still be interesting. Even though I would like to make some more plushies eventually. There might be some plushies in this video because I do have some scraps of some chenille yarn that I want to use up, but it'll be kind of all over the place. So this next project, I have no idea what kind of yarn this is, okay? This was one of those yarns that I've gotten from a kit a long time ago, and it literally just says made by me yarn, 100% acrylic yarn, 52 yards, made in China. That's it. No color names, no weights, no recommended hook sizes, nothing. Like, it's literally just some random yarn. And so I had 3 of these, and I am gonna tell you I did go ahead and get started on this project, but I'm not as far along, okay? I'm only about halfway done. So I am making a beanie with this, and I really hope that this looks good. I like the way the colors are turning out. I think this is just a very interesting type of yarn. So I used 1 full skein, and then I'm on the second skein up here, and then I have this one left, and that is all that I have of this yarn. I will say I am a little bit worried because, so I guess this is almost halfway, and it wraps around your head this way because you've got to fold up the brim and then cinch it at the top. And I don't, you know, like, this is, I don't know, it's kind of concerning how small it is right now. So I'm just hoping that this will be just the right amount of yarn and actually make a full beanie, because if it doesn't, then I'm gonna have to frog this and make something else. Maybe a cat ear beanie. I think that uses a little bit less yarn. I don't know. I just really hope this works because I don't want to have to redo it. So that's what I'm going to be working on now. Okay, y'all, ignore this angle. I'm currently in the art room right now waiting for my thing to dry so I can spray it again. And I'm working on my beanie, and I just now realized I forgot to do a smaller stitch on one end for when I cinch it up. And I tried it around my head. I still have this much yarn left, and I definitely think it'll be enough, like it'll still fit, but I'm just so mad because I don't want to redo this. But I'm so mad that I forgot to do a smaller stitch on one end. A lot of the beanies I do are single crochet, and then you do like 5 slip stitches at the end. But this one I'm doing half double crochet in the back loops only, so I should have done like single crochet in the last 5 stitches. And I'm so mad that I just totally forgot about it, and I just did not realize. It's still fine. It'll still make a decent beanie because I don't want to redo it. I think it'll be fine. It's fine. I'm just a little upset that I forgot that. Okay, I know this is a weird angle and bad lighting, but just bear with me for a second. My tripod broke, my little one that I have that I take with me to my dorm, so we're gonna have to just wing it. I finished the beanie. I think it looks super cute. Also, I was talking to my friend Dakota. He's like my only friend who crochets a lot like I do, and we were talking about this yarn, and he was like, that's kind of ugly, and I was like, you're kind of right. And then we were talking about the colors of it, and I realized, because I was like, I don't know why I don't like it. Like, I don't hate it, but I don't love it, you know? And then I realized I like all of these colors individually, but not together. And specifically the purple and green together, I think that's what's throwing me off. Like imagine this if you just took out all of the purple or if you just took out all of the green. It would look so much better, like either one. Because if you took out the purple, it would just be green, yellow, blue, and pink. And that would be cute. If you took out the green, it would be pink and purple, yellow and blue. So it's just both the green and the purple together is what throws it off to me. It doesn't look bad, but it could be better if the yarn was a slightly different variegation, you know? But anyway, I'll try it on for you because I actually did just try it on. It's a little longer than I thought. So the brim is pretty thick. I measured it to be 13 inches and that's how long I make my other bucket hats normally. But I think maybe just because this is such a thick yarn, the brim seems bigger. I don't know, but I don't mind the brim being longer. I still think it looks fine and it's just a very chunky, thick beanie. Like this will definitely keep your head warm in the winter. I think it's kind of cute. I low-key want to keep it, but I'm not going to. I have another beanie that I made for myself. It's okay. So anyway, now we're gonna move on to the next project of this video. So I have these two scrap yarns. And at some point in this video, I really want to do like a true scrap yarn project where you just kind of like do a different color for each row or something like that. I want to play around with different things, but I have so many ideas in my brain, I just need to get them out. So I have had these two yarns for so long. I have no idea what brand they are. They are acrylic, I know that for sure, but they're both the same and they're this very kind of like soft, but obviously like kind of fuzzy, like it's not one of those anti-pill ones. I don't know, it might be some kind of old Karen one. That would be my guess, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. I have less purple than I do of this blue, and then I also have this other little scrap of blue, so I'm gonna start with this, and then when I run out, I'm gonna move on to this. But my plan for this one is I'm finally gonna make a cat ear beanie. I'm very tempted to start another bucket hat, but I don't want to bore you guys because I already made a bucket hat and I want to switch things up. So we're gonna do a cat ear beanie. I also just haven't used this yarn in forever, so I'm kind of excited. It just brings me back to when I was a kid because I've actually had this yarn that long. Like I remember being in elementary school using this yarn to make like pom-poms and stuff. So I did a little test swatch. So normally for my cat ear beanies, I use a 5mm hook. But since I'm doubling up these yarns, I'm using a 6.5mm hook. I just did a couple double crochets and some chains to see, and I think it looks fine. So I'm gonna undo this now, and I'm going to actually make the right number of chains and get started on a beanie, a cat ear beanie. Here's an update. I have gotten this much done, and I feel like this looks really big, but it is going to get folded in half like this, so that looks like a more normal size. I am obsessed with the way these colors look together. I love these shades of blue and purple. It's like a turquoisey blue, and just like, they just look so good together. I am so happy with how this is turning out. I love these colors. I wish that cat ear beanies were my style because I love this. I love the way these yarns are turning out. So I'm kind of sad to sell it. And I've already planned on making it a cat ear beanie, so I'm not going to go back and change it. I've got my own crochet beanies, it's fine. I don't have to keep this for myself, even though it's really cute. But yeah, also, so I kind of wrote down my own pattern for a cat ear beanie because I tried to follow one tutorial and that one just turned out way too small, and I think it's because that girl had like a much looser tension. Okay, anyway, my original pattern that I wrote up, which is not super specific. You can obviously change this to any stitch you want. I just like to do it with double crochets. And so it's basically just me writing out how big of a chain I do and then how many rows. And so with my original pattern, I normally just use like a regular, just one strand of acrylic yarn and a 5mm hook, but since I sized up, and these ones are kind of thin, they're not like a super thick acrylic or anything. So, you know, I just sized up to a 6.5, and it does look a little bit open, which is not bad. I really don't mind it. I still think it looks great. But since it is a little bigger, and I did actually purposely make it bigger than the size that I would wear because a lot of people have told me that I have a small head. So I'm trying to make some bigger sizes to kind of have a variety and hopefully fit more people. And I also had my brother try on one of my cat ear beanies, and he has a big head, and it was way too small on him. So that's why I'm trying to kind of go for a different sizing. So my original pattern, it said 16 to 18 rows, and like 18 rows being like if you want just like a little bit of a longer brim, I guess. And this is how much purple I have left. I have quite a bit of teal or blue, whatever, but I'm starting to kind of get low on purple. So I have 11, I have almost 11 rows. I think I'm gonna check it at 14 rows, just since it is a little bit bigger. And I'm probably gonna do between 14 to 16 rows. And I think I'll have enough for that. It's only a few more rows, so. Okay guys, you have to ignore how goofy I look right now. But I'm kind of, you know, trying it on at 14 rows, and obviously it's not sewed together yet. But I think 14 might be fine. Since the colors are so like mixed together, you kind of can't even really tell how big the brim is. But I've got it about that big, and I've still got room to sew it up. So I think it'll be okay. I think I'm gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it at 14 rows. I have this much purple left, and then I've got this much teal. So maybe I can make something else that's small to match, because I do love this color combination. I'm just not sure what else to make that would be small enough to where I wouldn't run out of purple. Unless maybe a bandana, but I don't really want to use acrylic for that. I'd rather use cotton. However, this acrylic really is not stiff at all, so it probably would work okay. I don't know, we'll see. Or maybe I'll just save them and just do like a very scrappy beanie again at some point. I love scrap beanies where it's like each row or just like section is a different color. Like it doesn't have to specifically be one row. It could even be like half a row or a row and a half, you know, just like random, totally random different colors. I'm gonna cut it off here and go ahead and sew this together, and then we will move on to the next project. Okay, I'm officially done with the cat ear beanie. This is how it turned out. I think it's super cute. I'm obsessed with these colors. This is our third hat, and I think majority of my scrap yarn projects are going to be just continuing to make different kinds of hats and stuff, because I just have so many ideas. I need to get them out of my brain. And then I do still want to make a couple plushies, but I think I'll probably make one plushie when I go home over the weekend. But I just love making hats because like I don't have to do any stuffing or any eyes or anything like that. It's just so easy for me to just take the yarn with me and go. And that is really important with me being busy with college stuff all the time. I actually have to go to an art club meeting here soon in like 40 minutes. And I should work on packing since I'm going home this weekend and I'm leaving right after. But I really want to keep crocheting. So I think I'm gonna try and tell myself to crochet for only like 10 more minutes, and then I really need to pack before I have to leave. So then that way I can just get in my car and go, and hopefully I can crochet in the car because my boyfriend will be driving. So the next thing I'm gonna make is actually another cat ear beanie. Okay, I know I just made one, but they work up so fast. I just want to get another one. Like the fast projects like this give me so much more motivation to keep going. So I'm gonna make a red and blue one. So I think I've already mentioned that I got this huge bag full of scrap yarn from one of my friends who like knew somebody who was cleaning out their stuff and was getting rid of all this yarn, and so they gave it to me. So I am very happy about that. And a lot of it is this like red heart yarn. So I have like basically 2 full skeins of this red and blue, and then these 2 smaller skeins. And this is giving Spider-Man, okay? I would love to at some point also use this same yarn to make one of those like Spider-Man car hangers that like hangs upside down. I think that would be so cute. So hopefully we get around to that if I have time, especially since I'm gonna make a little matching cat ear beanie. But yeah, so I'm gonna start with these 2. I'm sure this will be enough, especially since, you know, I still had leftover of this. But this is gonna be basically the same vibe. I'm just gonna double strand them and make a cat ear beanie out of it. And it's gonna be super cute and very Spider-Man themed. I'm just gonna call it my Spider-Man cat ear beanie because that's what the colors are giving. Okay, so the last time I updated y'all, I think was when I was starting this cat ear beanie, my kind of Spider-Man cat ear beanie. I don't know if I want to write that on the tag or not, but it's giving Spider-Man, you know? So I have an update. That last clip that I left y'all on was before I was going home for the weekend, and recently it had stormed a lot. There was like a bunch of tornado warnings, all that kind of stuff, really bad storms. And so one of the main highways to get out of my city to go back home was flooded really bad to where they closed the highway. So when I was going home, it's normally a 2-hour drive or close to 2 hours, but that detour that we had to take because that highway was closed added an extra like 30 to 45 minutes. And so it was closer to the 3-hour mark instead of closer to the 2-hour mark. So I actually would have finished crocheting this in the car ride home because I wasn't the one driving. So I was crocheting most of that car ride, and then I ran out of blue. Y'all saw that I had a ton of red and blue, but I only took those like smaller skeins. I've still got a good amount of red left, but I ran out of blue and had to stop. But luckily, I did bring an extra thing of yarn to start a new project in case I finished this one. I didn't think I was gonna run out. I thought I was actually gonna finish the whole thing. And I think I only need like 2 more rows, so I did get really close. But I brought this yarn with me, and if you remember, this does look a lot smaller now. And that is because I started a bucket hat, and now I'm almost done with it. I'm almost done with the 18th row, so that means I need 2 more rows of this, and then I'll be done. So 2 more rows, and I should have a little bit left over on this. I'll just keep it as scraps. But yeah, I'm obsessed with this granny stitch bucket hat pattern. I think it's so cute. And I really want to make one of these for myself eventually to wear over the summer, just because I think they're so cute. And like, if I was gonna wear a bucket hat, this would be the one that I'd wear. I love this pattern. So maybe I'll make one for myself eventually. I am very glad that I have one of each color, one of this like yellow orange, and then the other one in the blue and teal. But since I have scraps left over, I might try and make a third and do like alternating rows. I don't know how cute it'll be, but I just have the vision in my brain, and so I want to see what it looks like. But yeah, this is where I am left off, and today is Wednesday. I do have some plans for later tonight, but after I'm done like doing homework and all that, then I will definitely finish this tonight. There's only 2 rows left. I can definitely finish this tonight and then get back to working on this one, which I should be able to finish fairly quickly too. But this weekend is the last weekend that I have before the market. And so I wanted to get a lot of stuff done this weekend, but then I realized this is actually a very busy weekend because Friday I have formal for my sorority, and we are going a little bit out of town. It's like an hour away, but it's like super late at night because we're going on like a riverboat cruise thing. And then Saturday we're going out of town again, and then Sunday is Easter. So I've got plans like every single day this weekend, and I'm hoping that all of those plans are just like a few hours throughout the day and don't turn into being like an all-day thing, so that I actually do have time to crochet, because I need to get stuff done. Luckily, this week hasn't been too aggressive on my like homework outside of class, so hopefully there's not a lot that I have to do school-wise over the weekend, and I can actually crochet in my free time. But I've got to start cranking out stuff. I think adding these 2 more hats to our stockpile will definitely be a good addition. After those, I really want to start focusing on plushies, specifically like the dinosaurs, because those sell really good. And then keychains. Keychains can make really fast, so I think those will be a good project to do kind of in between when I'm like getting burnt out of the dinos. And I think they also sell pretty decent because they're cheap, and I can also make them really fast and make a whole bunch of them. So that is my goal for after I finish those hats. Hey, today is Saturday, and this is my last weekend before the market. So we're exactly 1 week away. The market is supposed to be next Saturday, and I really hope that the weather turns out good because it's looking like it's gonna rain, and I just am praying that it works out and the weather's not too bad and that it works, because the backup date was literally just for the next day, but if it's raining, it's probably gonna be raining all weekend long. So I just hope that the rain is not that bad and everything works out. But now I am going to try my best tonight to grind out a whole bunch of keychains. So I have all of this scrap yarn right here. That's all of my acrylic yarn that I brought with me. I wish that I would have brought a couple more colors because like this is the only pink I brought. And I actually haven't made any keychains with this pink yet, but I do have a very like softer, lighter pink that I've already made some cute little flowers with, and so I think that would have been perfect, but I didn't bring it. And part of the reason I didn't bring all of my like acrylic colors was because I thought that I was going to grab some more like the last time I went home, but that didn't happen. That was a very busy weekend. All of my weekends have been so busy, and I'm trying to cram in as much crocheting as I can. And it's already Saturday at like 8 o'clock at night, and I'm just now crocheting for the weekend because formal was last night and I was just out of town and busy all weekend long. So finally getting around to crocheting. I'm going to make these little flower puff keychains. I should have grabbed one to show y'all, but it's fine. I have a little box of these keychains. I'm gonna first just make a few, but I'm probably gonna see what color of the little like keychains I have and kind of go based off of that, because after I make quite a few of these only take 10 minutes, so I should be able to get a bunch done. But after I make those, I also want to make some gummy bear ones. But the gummy bear keychains take about 30 minutes to do, so I won't be able to get quite as many of those done. Okay, I'm trying to kind of make these in like batches because I think that overall kind of makes it faster, so I'm not having to like switch between a ton of things. So I just picked out some keychains to match with the yarn colors I picked out. These red ones I actually just pulled out for whenever I get around to doing gummy bears, because I mean, I guess I could make some red flowers, but I don't know, because I realized even though this is all of the yarn that like I normally use, except these two were just like scraps that I'm still trying to use up. I mean, they're all scraps, you know, but these are ones that I buy pretty often. I do also have that red yarn that I used for the cat ear beanie. So I'm at least gonna make some gummy bears with that because I think red is a pretty good color to have as a gummy bear keychain. But I guess I could throw in a few flowers if I wanted to. All right, I know I already told you guys that today is the last Saturday before the market, but tomorrow is Sunday, which is also Easter. And so again, it's just like busy weekend after busy weekend. So tomorrow I'll be doing some Easter stuff, and then once I'm done with that and I come back here and I've got the rest of the day to work on stuff, I will try to work on some gummy bears, but then I also just have some other like setup things I gotta do, like price tags and stuff like that, but that'll be in a different video. So today and tomorrow, I'm gonna try and see how many keychains I can get done, both flowers and gummy bears. And then the rest of it, and this is all still with the scrap yarn, like just all the stuff that I've brought up here. But I did actually start another chubby dino, but obviously I've only gotten a few rows in because every time that I've tried to work on it, I just haven't had a whole lot of time for whatever reason. So that's how far I am. And after I'm done making keychains this weekend, the rest of the few days is just gonna be like the last minute, you know, little things I need to do. Like if I'm not done with price tags, I gotta do that. And I'm not gonna take a longer project to work on at the market, because if I'm working on stuff at the market, I'd rather it be stuff that I can like finish and put back on the table. So we'll see. Okay, I have an update from the last time I told you guys I was gonna crochet. You know that beanie I said I was gonna make? I only did 2 rows. So yeah, and I actually had to frog this because, so I have a pattern that I follow, which is just a simple beanie pattern that one of my friends made. And basically this is supposed to be 11 inches. So it's gonna be vertical like this, and then you're gonna eventually fold this up with the brim. I accidentally made this too long. And so even though I do have a pattern that I follow, the pattern is meant for just a regular, just one skein of yarn. You know, you're not triple stranding it like this. So whenever I do, you know, modifications like this where I use multiple strands of yarn or whatever, and and I have to change the hook size and everything. It usually just takes a little bit of trial and error at the beginning. Once I get it to the right size where it's 11 inches, then I can keep going and follow the pattern like normal. But unfortunately, I do have to frog this because I think it's like 14 inches, not 11 inches. So, oh well, it's a little bit long. I might just take this with me to be a project to work on here and there, or maybe like while I'm sitting there at the booth. I know I did say I was gonna work on keychains at the booth. Well, I don't know if I mentioned that in this video, but that was my original plan, was to work on keychains in the slow time at the booth. But maybe I'll work on this too if I don't finish it by then, because it's Thursday and the market's on Saturday. So I have, well, I was gonna say 2 days, but really like a day and a half. So the rest of today and tomorrow to finish prepping for this, which is stressful because I feel like I have so many things that I still wanna make, but I'm just not gonna have enough time. But it's okay, because I do still have a decent amount of stuff, so it's not that bad. But yeah, and I don't remember if I showed you guys the flower keychains, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you all them now. I have 5 of these pink ones and then 3 of these blue ones. I am going to just sit in my bed for a little bit and crochet. I'm gonna frog this one. I'm not gonna actually restart it yet. I'm probably gonna work on making more of these flower keychains while I'm sitting here. And then eventually, once I get bored of these, then I might start this again, or I might make some gummy bear keychains. I don't know. I will update you guys next time I actually have an update. Okay, so it's been a little bit. I made 3 more of these blue ones, so now I have 6. I didn't make any more pink ones, so we're still just at 6 with those. And then I made 3 white and 3 green. And actually, in all of my scraps, that is one thing that kind of sucks about these, is that they're so small, which, I mean, I love, they work up great, but they produce so many scraps because, you know, I'm having to tie 4 strings together in the back. So, but it's okay, I'm not gonna let them go to waste. I will definitely use them for stuffing in other projects. But I was like not paying attention, and I accidentally used the green to sew a centerpiece instead of the petals when I started on these. And I was like, I am not making a flower with a green centerpiece, so this one's just gonna go with the scrap yarn now. But yeah, I'm about to take a break from these just because I'm getting hungry and I want to make some dinner, clean up and stuff, just kind of get ready for the night. And then I have some other stuff I need to work on. Yeah, I'm gonna take a break from this and work on some other things, and then I will update y'all later tonight if I make anything else. Hey guys. It is actually a few days after the market now. The market was on Saturday and it is Tuesday now. And I just realized I never filmed an outro for this video. I will update you guys that I did not end up actually making anything new that last night before the market. I just kind of worked on the stuff of like individually tagging things that needed tags, making some signs, stuff like that. So I didn't actually get to crochet anything else, but I was working on something right now, and then I realized that I needed to update y'all and film an outro for this video. So I restarted that beanie that you guys saw me start originally. Unfortunately, you guys won't see this beanie finished in this video because I just started it. So I'm really liking this color combination, and so I still have 1 market left. I am doing 1 more market at the end of May, which you will see a separate video for, but I'll probably take this with me, and if it doesn't sell, then I'll probably keep it for myself and wear it in the fall. So yeah, that is all that I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed this kind of chaotic mess of watching me go through all these random projects with my scrap yarn. So I still have quite a bit of scrap yarn left, so maybe you'll see another one of these videos at some point, whether it's for market prep or not. I don't know. I definitely love scrap yarn projects though, and I would like to do some more that are more true scrap yarn projects where you have the smaller scraps and just switch colors every time you run out of yarn. I love those projects. I have a beanie that I made like that, and it is actually my favorite beanie. I wear it all the time in the wintertime. So yeah, maybe you'll see another one of these videos eventually, but that is all that I have for now, and I will see you next time. Bye!